And if I was to tell you guys, one of the things that I feel like stops so many people, the desire is there, the excitement is there, the skillfulness is not there, the mastery is not there. Poor people spend time entertaining themselves. Rich people primarily spend their time educating themselves. And the first thing I'll say is this, guys, this call, every single Saturday we do this call, and it is with one very specific purpose. It is to show people that if you practice God's principles, you can participate in his promises. And so I get very, very excited about that. The platform is called Ambassadors of the Kingdom. We have people on here from different companies representing different products, representing different services, but everybody has the common goal to want to grow, to want to build, to want to succeed. And if that's you, type of AOTK in the chat. If that's you, type of AOTK in the chat. Shane Scott, what's up, my brother? Great to see you. Guys, the first thing I want us all to do is this. I want you to think about somebody that you want to see grow, somebody that you want to see develop, somebody that you want to see make it with you to the top. And can we all partner together? Take a screenshot of this call, right? Drop it in the Discord server or put it, in an iMessage chat. Send it out to 5 people. Send it to a leader. Take a screenshot of this call and type locked in, right? Send it out to somebody and let everybody know we're getting started. Today, we're talking about mastering your craft. You guys know how this goes. I like to say note takers are money makers. But I'm going to get into it. And the first thing I want you to do is this. As we're talking about mastering your craft, that could mean whatever that means to you. So whether it is a business, I think we got a lot of business people on this call. Whether you're building an organization, whatever you're trying to accomplish, achieve, it is about mastery, mastery, mastery. Okay. So that's the focus for today. Everything that I say is going to relate back to mastering your craft. Now, again, if you guys see this on YouTube, like, comment, share, right? But I'm going to switch back and forth between the slides and just talking to you guys. And the first thing I want you to understand is learning, right? So learning, a lot of us, we misunderstand the purpose of it. The purpose of learning is not to know, right? The purpose of learning is actually mastery. So when we were in school, yes, we went to school to get good grades. But how many guys realize that getting good grades doesn't necessarily correlate to living a fantastic life? How many guys realize that going to school and memorizing the information that you need to pass the test doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be successful? Somebody type yes in the chat. Guys, the purpose of learning is to master it, not to learn it so that you get it right, but to learn it so that you can't get it wrong. Wisdom is the application of knowledge. So how many guys know somebody that they might know a lot of information, but they're not very successful, right? They know a lot of how-to things, but they're not very successful. Mastery is the ability to execute effortlessly without the use of conscious resources. Let me break that down. There's unconscious incompetence, right? That's number one, which is what? That means I don't even know that I don't know. There's conscious incompetence, which is the next step, which means, okay, well, yeah, I want to achieve something. I want to get somewhere. And I know that there's some things that I just don't know. Right. And then there's conscious competence, which means, okay, cool. I learned it. And now I know that I learned it. And then the level of mastery that you want to focus on and that we're going to dive in deep today is unconscious competence. Meaning you don't even have to think about it. It's second nature. You just know what you're doing. You're just that good. So again, unconscious incompetence, conscious incompetence, right? Conscious competence and then unconscious competence. So the higher level of mastery, the more money you make. Guys, one of the things that I love about this topic is this. If you get to a level of mastery, you don't have to be the most popular person. You don't have to be the most influential person. Everybody doesn't have to agree with you, but if you're masterful in what you do, guys, that's going to take you where you need to be. That's what my confidence was in. That's what got me excited. I said, if I just get good at this thing, now I deserve the success. Okay? A lot of people, they want to get to the top. They want to get to success. They want to live this lifestyle or that lifestyle, right? But the saying goes, if you want what they have, then you got to do what they do. Everybody wants what they have, but a lot of people don't want to do what it is that they do. Guys, as a coach and a mentor, I found myself in several instances wanting to cut people a discount. What do I mean? I've wanted to cut people a discount. I've wanted to say, there's a shortcut. You don't have to necessarily do this. I want to naturally make it easier for them. But the truth is, you just got to get good at it. I look back at my journey, I had to cut my teeth. I look back at my journey, I had to build those muscles. I look back at everything I've accomplished, I had to do the work. I had to work on the business, and then I had to work twice as hard on myself. So how many of you guys watching on this call, you wouldn't mind doing the work on yourself? Is anybody interested in getting to a level of mastery and just getting good, right? A lot of us, we don't want to get started because we feel like, man, well, I don't want to be seen at the bottom. Well, you can't get better and look cute at the same time, right? You don't have to be great to get started, but you do got to get started in order to ever be great. So you're going to be bad before you ever are good, but you have to start somewhere. Okay. So again, learning, the purpose of learning is not to know. The purpose of learning is mastery. Guys, if you look at my screen, let me show you. This is a quote by Bruce Lee. He says, I fear not the man who has practiced 10,000 kicks once, or who has practiced 10,000 kicks once, but I fear the man who has practiced one kick 10,000 times. Right? So let me explain what this means. Okay. A lot of us, we still haven't decided. And that was one thing that I did in the beginning is I said, you know what, I'm going to make a decision. And what is a decision? To decide, ladies and gentlemen, does not necessarily mean to choose. To decide means that you're unwilling to accept any other outcome than the outcome that you're setting out for when you decide. And many of you have heard this said before, but the word decide rhymes with two other words, suicide and homicide. Why? Because in every case, something must die. You got to die to who it is that you were to give birth to who it is that you will become. Right? So you have to decide, I am going to be successful. You have to decide it is going to work. You have to decide, I am going to become that leader. I'm going to become that person. The business is going to work. Right? So moving forward, let me break this down. A lot of us are watching from different backgrounds, from different businesses. If you're going to become masterful, the question you got to ask yourself is, what do I need to become masterful at? Whatever you want to succeed in, what are the skills that allow you to succeed in that field? Right? A lot of you are building a home-based business. What are those skills? Finding prospects, right? Inviting people to see information, okay? Presenting, showing your vision, showing your plan, following up, okay? A lot of us, you know, when we look at a business, when we look at an opportunity, how many times have you felt like, man, I don't want to call this person because I don't want to bother them? Or maybe I already told this person about what I'm doing and I don't want to go back again because I feel like I'm going to, again, bother them. Guys, the fortune is in the follow-up. Okay? Closing is another skill. Getting people started if you're building a business. Promoting events is another skill that you have to master. So listen, before you say that you want to earn the six figures, before you say that you want to earn a part-time income in business for yourself, before you say I want to be $1 million earner, you got to make that decision that says, you know what, I'm going to become masterful. We can have more if we're willing to become more. A lot of us want to skip the becoming. Okay? Mastery. Look at the skills that you have to learn. Don't just be excited. Don't just be on a call like this and be fired up. You got to make a decision. I'm actually going to get good at some things. How many guys are willing to get good at some things? Type yes in the chat. Yeah, I'm going to read you guys a verse from Proverbs, a passage. And I love it so much because it really talks about wisdom and understanding. Those of you guys that don't know, Proverbs was written by King Solomon, the wisest man to ever live. Okay, if King Solomon was alive today, he'd be a multi-trillionaire, right? So let me tell you what this says from Proverbs 8:12 through 21. It says, I, wisdom, dwell together with prudence. I possess knowledge and discretion. To fear the Lord is to hate evil. I hate pride and arrogance, evil behavior and perverse speech. Counsel and sound judgment are mine. I have insight. I have power. By me kings reign, and rulers issue decrees that are just. By me princes govern, and nobles all rule the earth. Let me explain to you guys why that gets me so fired up, and let me explain to you what it's really saying. It says, wisdom and understanding, they come together with prudence, knowledge, and discretion. So in other words, when you're gaining wisdom and understanding, you're not just gaining wisdom and understanding, but you're also gaining a level of insight, right? Let me move forward. It also says, I love those who love me, and those who seek me find me. So when you talk about wanting to be successful, a lot of people say, oh, well, I'll be successful when God makes me successful, right? How many guys heard somebody say, oh, I'm waiting on God? God's waiting on you. Okay, let me explain. Without man, God will not, and without God, man cannot. So it's a partnership, right? Verse 18, with me are riches and honor, enduring wealth and prosperity. Okay, so again, when you think about that, it says, wait a minute, if I'm willing to learn something, right? Not if you're a good person, not if you're excited, not if you drop a 777 in the chat, if you're willing to develop yourself, if you're willing to grow, if you're willing to work on your skills. With me are riches and honor, enduring wealth and prosperity. My fruit is better than fine gold. What I yield surpasses choice silver. Okay, I walk in the way of righteousness along the paths of justice. Right? Bestowing a rich inheritance on those who love me, making their treasures full. Guys, that gets me so excited. And the reason why it does is because it says, wait a minute, hold on. You got to ask yourself the question, does God want me to have wisdom and understanding? Yes. Well, wisdom and understanding don't travel alone. Okay. So that's going to be up to you to decide, wait a minute, I actually want to deserve success. How many guys want to deserve success? How many guys don't want to wish for it, but you would be willing to work for it? That gets me fired up because I said, wait a minute, what does that mean? That means that wisdom and understanding aren't hiding from me. I can go and get it. I can go obtain it. I can develop it, right? And if I can develop and gain wisdom and understanding, that means that I can go out there and build a business. That means I can go out there and build the life that I've always wanted to build. That means that I can actually become that person who can attract success. And if I was to tell you guys, one of the things that I feel like stops so many people that I work with or have worked with in the past, the desire is there, the excitement is there, the skillfulness is not there. The mastery is not there, right? Let me explain something to you guys. If you talk about the poor versus the rich, poor people spend time entertaining themselves. Rich people primarily spend their time educating themselves. So the question I have for you is, what do you spend your additional time doing? What are you consuming? What are you watching? Guys, personal development, audios, books, right? Going to seminars, that is something that should be in your daily routine. Every single day, you should be listening to some new information. If you know that there's recordings on YouTube of calls that you missed, go back and watch those calls. If you know that there's people who have the success and the life you want, why not spend time learning from them? Right? A lot of people are so excited about what's going on with this team, with that team, right? About what time the game is coming on, or watching reality television. Why don't you spend some more time learning and growing and developing yourself? Guys, that was one of the biggest things that I said that I was going to do. I said, I'm going to saturate my mind with where it is that I want to go next. I'm going to fill my mind with things that affirm the reality that I want to create. Okay. It's about the mindset mastery. People say, man, well, isn't success, about how to and exactly what I need to do? Just tell me what I need to do. It's about what you need to do, but it's also about what you're filling your mind with, so you have the mindset to even do what you need to do. Okay. The thing I love so much, a lot of people, they question, they say, man, well, I don't know if I'm supposed to be successful. I don't know if I'm supposed to be rich. Malachi, what about the scripture that says it's easier for the camel to go through the eye of a needle than it is for the rich man to enter into heaven? Let me explain something to you. The same God that put that scripture in the word is the same God that also said Abraham was also rich. And Abraham was a friend of God. Right? So you don't have to be evil to create wealth. How many guys have, you've seen that mentality in people where they feel like, well, in order to be successful, in order to make money, I somehow have to compromise my morals and ethics. Proverbs 13:22 says a good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children. Guys, I love that, and that gets me fired up. I hope that gets you fired up, because it gives you the answer. It tells you exactly what you need to do. It tells you exactly what your focus should be. Guys, let me tell you something. The prerequisite of wisdom is first ignorance. So the first step is understanding that, okay, cool, there's something that I don't know. There's something that I don't understand. The second step is knowledge. It's the accumulation of truth. Ignorance is the absence of truth. Knowledge is the accumulation of truth. And then understanding is the assimilation of truth. Okay. So the first thing that you want to do is develop assets. A lot of us, we have $1 million dreams, but we're in a minimum wage vehicle. So in order to exercise your faith, in order to exercise your mastery, you have to have a vehicle that can take you where you need to go. Good news for a lot of you guys on the call, you already found one. Okay. But if you don't have the vehicle, well, then you can't get to where you need to go. So the first step is having an asset. What does that asset look like? Maybe it's a business. Maybe it's real estate. Maybe it's cars on Turo. Maybe it's having a book. But you have to have first some vehicle, some asset that can bring you income. If all you have is a job, can I tell you the truth? All you have is something that makes you an asset to someone else. You got to have an asset that can take you where you need to go, that brings you income, that brings you money. Okay. And now once you have the asset, the mastery of mindset is to first set an intention. Can I tell you guys something? This was one of the things that I had to learn and I had to develop above all else. You ask anybody that's successful, one of the things that they'll tell you is the hardest thing they did was not becoming successful. It was believing that they could become successful. It's setting the intention. People say, how do you stay focused? Right? Has anybody ever, how you don't burn out? Has anybody ever seen, or maybe you yourself, you've been going into business, you've been excited, you've been fired up, but it only lasts 2 weeks. But it only lasts 1 month, right? You went to the convention and you were fired up, man. You were excited. You were jumping up and down. You left and you worked for 3 days, right? You woke up in the morning, you put on the Eric Thomas and he was, shouting and screaming. You was fired up. You was like, man, ET got me lit. And you went and made phone calls for 1 day. Guys, let me tell you something. Successful people are obsessive about intention, right? People that fail focus on distractions. So whatever is trying to distract you, the purpose of a distraction is to do exactly that, to take your focus off of what you're supposed to be focusing on. Let me tell you something. What you want to do is focus and obsess over what's going right. Whatever your focus goes, that's where your emotions and your energy flows. So It's supposed to be adversity. There's supposed to be things that are trying to stop you. There's supposed to be things that are trying to get in your way. But successful people, they just focus on what's going right. Okay. So it's not about that nothing is going wrong. No, it's when everything is going wrong, can you still do what's right? Can you still do what you're supposed to do? People ask me all the time, man, how do you actually, somebody just asked me this on a call the other day. They said, how do I keep going even when I don't want to do it? They said, how do you fill your cup when your cup is empty? What do you do when you don't feel like working? And I gave this person two answers. The first answer is this: every single day, you should be feeding your mind and saturating your mind. Okay. The word says faith comes by hearing. So you should be hearing consistently over and over and over where you want to go. You should be listening and speaking affirmation. Okay. A lot of us, the reason we're sinking is because of our thinking. And if you understood what makes you actually, again, where the thoughts come from, it's what you're listening to, it's what you're consuming. Listen to more podcasts, right? Go on YouTube and watch more of the people that have the success and the lifestyle that you want. Okay. Setting intention, right? And then in addition to it, you guys want to know the honest truth? The honest truth is a lot of the time you're not going to feel like doing it, and you got to do it anyway. Okay. You got to think about what your why is. You got to think about, man, why am I doing this business? Why did I decide to become an entrepreneur? Why did I decide to hop on a call like this on a Saturday morning or a Saturday afternoon and show up? Is it because you want to retire your parents? Is it because you want to put together a college fund for your kids? Is it because you're sick and tired of being sick and tired? Is it because you never want to be broke again? Is it because there's a charity or a foundation that you want to contribute to? You got to know what that is for you. And then you need to get dead serious. You got to decide. And when you don't feel like doing it, you got to think back to, well, why am I doing this in the first place? Set the intention. Then you must pay attention. Guys, when you talk about mastering your craft, again, I told you, you got to develop the skill sets of inviting, the follow-up. Like that should be stuff you're doing all the time. I'm talking about, I was up at midnight, ladies and gentlemen, past midnight, 1, 2, 3 in the morning, going through YouTube, looking at these videos of how to do the skills that I needed to actually make the money, to actually have success. Is anybody on this call willing to be that obsessive? Right? I know someone that said be obsessed or be average. Is anybody willing to be that focused? Is anybody willing to be that locked in? Because if you're willing to be that locked in, I'll tell you what, there's nothing you can't have. Set the intention, pay attention, right? Every single day, pay attention to where you want to go, and then obtain intention. Okay? Right? And the next thing, guys, is mastering your skill set. So listen, the word wisdom in the Bible is actually skill, if you didn't know that. But you got to practice it. Can I tell you something? When you're practicing it, it's not always going to look good. It's not always going to feel good. But you got to practice and practice and practice and practice and practice. Somebody says, man, how long I got to practice? Man, I'm getting tired. You got to be willing to practice if it takes the next 10 years. Guys, you know that's something that I said. I was 18 years young, and I said, you know what, man? If it takes me 10 years to get to where I want to go, I'm going to be here 10 years. I said, if it takes 9 years and I got to be struggling, no success for 9 straight years, but on the 10th year, I got to where I wanted to go, I said, it's going to be worth it. Does anybody else think the same way? Type of AOTK in the chat. Let me know something. Let me know something. If it took 10 years, okay, that was the level of dedication that I had when I had first got started. My guy said, oh, my guy said it's in me, not on me. Yes, sir. Lambo lifestyle. I love it. Okay. Let me tell you something. The first thing is practice. After you practice, it's precision. Practice until you get it right. Practice until you cannot get it wrong. Right? And then productivity. Guys, there's activity and there's productivity. Let me ask you a question. What are you going to do today that's productive? Activity, right? Organizing your pens, writing on a whiteboard what you're going to do, right? Typing up your game plan and your notes, okay? Talking on the phone with somebody else, being excited about what you're going to do, okay? If we're talking about productivity, what are you doing that's productive? If you're building a business, who are you getting in front of today, right? To show them your product, your service, right? How many phone calls are you going to make? How many people are you going to contact? That's productivity. That's an income producing activity, right? Guys, mastery is exactly what you need to get to where you want to go. And again, I've always, especially in my developing years, every year is a developing year, but I would want to tell people that it's easier than what it is. And the truth is, it's not easy. It's not going to be easy. It's actually going to be very, very hard, what you want to accomplish. But guess what? Would it really be worth it if it wasn't? If you're on this call, you got to decide what those skills are for you. But if you're on Zoom, likely finding prospects. Let me show you on the screen. Okay, finding prospects. Okay, do you know how to find the people? Do you know how to find the people? Right? I put it this way, man. People are like dust. They're everywhere. But obviously there's different qualities and tiers of people. Sometimes you're looking for different kind of people. Finding prospects, okay? Something you need to do. You always have to have new people to talk to. Inviting, right? Can you effectively get someone in front of the information that you're trying to share with them? Presenting, right? How many guys heard that the person with holding the pen, the person in front of the whiteboard, the person in front of the room makes the most money? It's the truth. You got to get good at that. Okay, following up. You might have shared your opportunity. You might have shared your product, your service, but you got to go back and you got to follow up. Okay, closing. On a scale of 1 to 10, how effective are you at getting someone to make a decision? Right? To buy right then and there, right? Getting people started. If you're building an organization, if you're building a business, a corporation, whatever it may be, how effective are you at onboarding people? Promoting events, okay? Can you move people and mobilize people to an event in an environment where they can grow and develop themselves? Okay, so if you take one thing away from this call, let me just tell you, okay, if you take one thing away from this call, it's the necessity to go out there and master your craft. That is my wish for each and every single one of you, that you decide to get better, that you decide to develop, that you don't wish for success, that you decide to become the person that deserves success. Okay. While everybody else is out there, posting I mean, we all do it, but you put the quotes out on Instagram, you say, this is my year, you say, this is my time, you say, this is my season. You know what's going to determine that? Your willingness to get better, your willingness to study, to go back and watch a recording of a call like this. Go look at whoever your mentor is, whoever your coach is, whoever those people that have what you want, study them, okay? One more time, Proverbs 8:12 through 21. This is wisdom and understanding. I, wisdom, dwell together with prudence. I possess knowledge and discretion. To fear the Lord is to hate evil. I hate pride and arrogance and behavior. I hate pride and arrogance, evil behavior, and perverse speech. Counsel and sound judgment are mine. I have insight. I have power. By me, kings reign and rulers issue decrees that are just. By me, princes govern, and nobles all who rule the earth. I love those who love me, and those who seek me find me. With me are riches and honor, enduring wealth and prosperity. Type of AOTK in the chat for enduring wealth and prosperity. My fruit is better than fine gold, and what I yield surpasses choice silver. I walk in the way of righteousness, along the path of justice, bestowing a rich inheritance on those who love me, making their treasures full. Guys, I fully enjoyed today. I hope you leave understanding and having a desire to gain more wisdom, to gain more understanding, to decide to become masterful. That you understand that you don't have to be great to get started, but you do got to get started to be great. As long as you keep putting one foot in front of the other, as long as you keep showing up, as long as you keep getting better, regardless of what's happening in your life, regardless of any level of adversity, if you decide to become a master, ladies and gentlemen, there is nothing you can't have. I enjoyed this Saturday. I will see you next Saturday. I love each and every single one of you, and there's nothing you can do about it.